guys, it's Joey or Rowan. Happy 2013. It's been a while since I've been on camera, so this will be interesting. Coming to you today with no makeup on again. Sorry. But my mouth is still a little bit sensitive, so I've been leaving makeup off for the most part. Skin looks nice for it though. Right, so this video is going to be about the ideas of silence. I'm going to call it silence and goals, I think. And before I get started, there is something I want to share with you. If you live in the UK. Now, I don't know if you've noticed if you live in the UK, but buying bulk herbs is a problem. Like, you see all these amazing American sites and they do big bulk herbs, but if you want them shipped to England, the cost, even for a company, is ridiculous. And I happened across a website that does dried flowers and herbs, and it's mainly lavender. It's called lavenderworld.co.uk, and I will put the link down there. But they have lavender, rose in petals and rose buds, and cornflower petals. Now that's what I was looking for. I needed lavender as well, because I really wanted cornflower petals for a candle I have in mind. Could I find them anywhere but America originally? No, I couldn't. And then I came across this amazing website. Now, I bought this bag of lavender. It is lavender. Looks a bit dodgy like that. See lavender. And it's huge. Huge, great big bag of lavender. And the parcel, it smelled like lavender, like my whole house smells like lavender. It's gorgeous. And this great big bag was £6 for this. And yeah, £5.95 for 250 grams. And I got 50 grams of dried cornflower petals. The blue. The colour's a bit off on the web camera. And that was £4.95. But the great thing about this website is it's all free shipping. So you don't pay anything for shipping at all. And it's slower. There is a paid delivery which is faster, but the slow delivery is 3 to 5 days. And they shipped mine on the 3rd and it came on the 5th, so on a Saturday as well. So that's my first little mention of that, because I thought that was really good for people. Like, I use lavender in everything, so that great big bag will save me a lot of money. Like, I mean, you can buy the little bags and they're like, what, £2 each? I will just, in fact, go to my favourite pagany website and tell you. Right, so £2 or £1.25 for 25 grams. And then of course you're going to pay shipping, so in nearly everywhere. So a great big massive bag for £6 and no shipping is pretty amazing by itself. Right, so I thought I'd share that with the world. Excuse my crazy hair. Ooh. There, that's better. So today's video is something that has been resonating with me recently, and I thought I would just do a talky video and talk about it. There's no script, so it could turn out to be rambling nonsense. So yeah. So the idea of this video is silence and goals. Now, there's going to be a ton of videos around at the minute, in not just in the pagan community, everywhere, with the whole it's 2013, start fresh, to have new goals, yada yada yada. And I think you need to take a step back from that first, and that will involve the silence in a minute. But I will start in a second about that, because the first thing I want to talk about really is the whole idea of resolutions in 2013 in January. I don't like New Year's resolutions, mainly well, not mainly. One is not really my new year. I celebrate both, but for me, Samhain is when I, you know, set my goals. And the other thing is there's this huge societal, so I can't even, it's like they're digging their fingernails into people. Like at Christmas, spend, 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 splurge, 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 eat, 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 binge, right? So you have all the adverts for food, all the adverts sort of making people feel that they should be buying this, all the offers on big tins of sweets and big packs of crisps, and everything that is bigger is cheaper, and they sort of give the whole idea of all this huge amount of food is associated with a feeling of happiness and family. After that, they switch gear. Oh, have you overspent at Christmas? Have you purged? Have you binged at Christmas? Now purge. And you get all the offers on the healthy foods, on the gym memberships, on everything like that. And it's a really, really unhealthy, as far as I'm concerned, mentality to shove down people's throats through the TV and advertising and supermarkets and everything, which is binge, 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 purge. I've always had a real problem with this because it encourages unhealthy behaviour as far as I'm concerned, and everybody falls victim. I fall victim to it. And you know, the gnome wanted a really special Christmas this year because last year we couldn't afford it, and turns out this year we couldn't afford it. We had a great big bill hit us after Christmas. So he wanted all this food, and I went with it because, you know, it's Christmas. I wanted him to be happy. We got more food than we should have. It's my fault too. I was like, oh, I want this cheese and this cheese because we have cheese and crackers, and yeah, we had more than we should have. And now it's back to healthy eating, because the problem with it is as well is that all these adverts and things start to drill into your head, and you've still got all this leftover food, generally speaking, and you're like, Rrr. And I actually started before Christmas, like rationalising, like we don't need all of it on our Christmas meal because we won't eat it all. So like we had chipolatas. We bought these really, really nice chipolatas, and they were in packs of 6. So we bought 2 packs, and I was thinking originally we would have 3 with each Christmas dinner because we had Christmas dinner 2 days in a row, because we had a turkey crown, which was amazing. And in the end I ended up putting 1 pack in the freezer and saying we can have those later on with a meal somewhere down the line. Things like that. I'm not going to say we did really, really well because we didn't. We still ate too much nonsense. But the whole point of this whole resolution thing really, it borders on this societal push, and I want the positivity of the 2013 to set yourself goals, but it kind of feels like you are being funneled into it by the powers that be, by advertising, by big business. And like I said, I did my wish jar at Samhain. I set my goals there and then. So what I think is really great for this time of year, because we're still we've had Yule, so the light is building, but we're not there yet. In bulk, a bit more, but January tends to be a really depressing time of year. If you want to know a really depressing fact, there are more suicides in January than at any other time of the year. Learned that in sociology. How depressing is that? And I honestly think it is because, you know, there's that build up to Christmas, and if people don't have the Christmas that they want, then they get depressed. Then all of the Christmas stuff stops. All the pretty lights come down, all the decorations come down, and it's just drab. There's less light, there's SAD, there's going back to work after the holidays. There's all this societal pressure like, you're too fat now, and whatever, leads to more suicides. And it's really, really sad. But I think January is that perfect time of year for that sort of quiet, going into yourself thing that we talked about at Samhain, that darkness that you go in and think and discover. And I've noticed I am a lot more keyed into what's going on. I am receiving a lot more messages, things that I sort of think and then I know, and answers come to me from all over the place, and dreams, and videos suddenly turn up on YouTube, and I think, being pointed in a certain direction, and I will follow that through. And this silent time of the year led me to shift my altars around because the energies are changing. We're going into 2013. There is that sense of opportunity that should be perceived with grabbed. That positive vibe, that change in energies, that shift, that should be grabbed. But it's this sense of obligation from the world around us, this societal oomph that sort of troubles me. And by all means, if you can set yourself resolutions, follow through with them and be positive about them, by all means. If you can set yourself one or two and follow through and that changes your life, then great. However, the whole joke about resolutions is people make these resolutions in January and by February they're broken, and that just leads to a sense of failure. I don't know, the whole resolution thing, I don't think it's an overwhelmingly positive experience for the majority of people. If you can make it work, great. Be my guest, use it as a spur to change whatever you want to change in your life. But I think what is more effective is using this time of year, this dark time of year when it's less likely to want to go out and go outside and murmur, and it is going in to sort of discover things about yourself. And if you are pagan, then or if you are spiritual or religious, then just finding new things out about your relationship with divinity, with spirit, with your God, with your goddess, deity, spirit, however you would like to put it. And at this time of the year is a really great time for deciding what things you might want to incorporate, rather than being like, I have to do this by this point. It might be more helpful to go, right, what can I start to slowly incorporate into my life that can make changes? Now, from a physical point of view, maybe if you have a weight loss goal, I know what I do, is basically start to work your way back into a healthy pattern again. It's like I actually craved salads. This is really, really bizarre, but when we were having all this really cool unhealthy food that was like, I was craving salads, and I swear to God, it's just my brain being contrary, like, well, you can have all this now, I want salad. It's an issue. And we started going on walks again, so we sort of, not bothered leading up to Christmas. What with being in pain with my wisdom teeth, busy with having my family, then Christmas, and it all just sort of went poof out the window. So we started doing walks again, and walks, around the village, 30-40 minutes, once or twice sometimes a day. And that's a very small thing that you can do, and getting outside even when it's not that pleasant. I know the weather in Britain has been pretty abysmal, if not really terrible in some places, but here it's been sort of, we've had wet days, but it's been more grey than anything else. So I've been able to go on walks, and that helps because that incorporates the little bit of exercise, the little bit of change, the going outside, the enjoying all the sights and sounds of winter, such as they are. The bird song around at the minute is incredible. We went out one day and it was really, really windy, so you could hear the wind like howling through the trees and stuff, and the birds were all like going nuts. And was funny in one way, and it was beautiful in another, because it was the wind and then the birds, and it was one of those days when the element of air was just like boomf in your face sort of thing. It was gorgeous, even though it wasn't sunny, mirror in the mirror. And I go past my local graveyard on this walk. That's the one I went to at Samhain and gave offerings. And when we went by on Christmas Day, we went by New Year's Day, and sort of both days I just sort of gave my offerings of blessing and peace to the spirits of the dead, particularly those who've been forgotten, on Christmas and New Year. I didn't take anything down, and I had noticed that some people, since I've been doing this, there's been wreaths left on unmarked graves. Not unmarked graves, the ones that are like faded. And I thought I was like, that's interesting. And so there were wreaths there, and I thought, well, I didn't have anything like that, so I just went and sort of gave my thoughts and my prayers, and on Christmas Day and New Year's Day and in between, because if there's anything restless, maybe it will bring them a little bit sense of peace. Obviously you have to cleanse yourself after such an activity and be careful not to bring anything in. But fortunately, following the Morrigan, I've always had a strong connection with the spirit world, with the dead, and I have had a lifetime's experience of knowing when something's going on. So there was that, and that also sort of ties into that idea of silence, that sort of quietness within yourself. Like, that came to me that was something I should do on my walk. We were just enjoying the walk in peace. We actually went out quite early on Christmas Day for a walk, thinking it might get busy. It didn't really, but it was really, really peaceful and quiet at that time, and that came to me from on high. That's something you should do. Show your respect. Show a little bit of love to those who maybe have been forgotten in the course of time. So also within going into a sort of state of silence, I also had a message. A message I got the feeling I should share, that the silence is not ignorance. Being silent on a subject doesn't mean you don't know anything about it. There's a lot of talk of hexing and cursing and stuff going on at the minute, and a really strong thing that you can do is quietly, silently deal with it, rather than make a whole load of noise. If it's happening to you, by all means, if you want to get out there and just dispel it all, and that resonates with you, go for it. However, I've always taken the quiet approach to this, because I think silent and deadly, basically. Like, if they don't know that you know, and then. So one of the messages from on high was to say that silence is not ignorance, and just because you're not yapping your mouth off about a certain subject doesn't mean that you don't know, it doesn't mean that you're not investigating, and it doesn't mean that you're ignorant or stupid or any of those other things. In time of silence and this time of year, and with goals and things, it's a fantastic time to start cleansing out everything. The Japanese, on the 31st onto the 1st, they have this great big cleaning of the house. I did that. A great big cleansing of the house, and I'll keep doing it for a little while. Keep cleansing, keep shifting, keep those energies flowing. Because the energies are shifting at this time of the year. I mean, if you're even slightly in tune with it, you can feel it, and it's really weird, because there's this overwhelming sense of there's an overwhelming sense in the atmosphere at the minute of sadness. If you ask me, and the sense of like, don't waste your life. Don't waste it, and that might just be because of the energies of the start of the year, when everybody is like setting their resolutions, setting their goals. But there is that energy of don't waste it. Don't waste your life. Go for your dreams. And that can be a really positive thing to take in from being quiet, meditating with divinity. What do I want to do? It's best not to overwhelm yourself, but a little bit of that push is a good thing. Too much of it and a fall on your face is a bad thing. So another thing that I have started off this year is to explore the path which is becoming more and more apparent is mine, and that is the path of Celtic Witchcraft. And I got this book for Christmas, and I will show it again. It's Celtic Lore and Spellcraft of the Dark Goddess Invoking the Morrigan by Stephanie Woodfield. Isn't that beautiful with the Celtic designs on? I've been really slow with it because I read like a crazy person. I could have got through this book in an hour. Maybe not an hour, but in a day I could have got through this book. But I'm taking it really slowly and trying to appreciate it more, trying to slowly digest it, trying to slowly retain it, I guess. Some of the stuff about Celtic history is fascinating. Fascinating fact number one. I find history fascinating, and this is something I will explore more. The Celts used soap before the Romans did. The Romans were still using oil to clean themselves when the Celts were using soap. Fascinating fact number two. Marriage was considered an equal partnership. There was no, in the Celtic society, there was no ownership of women at the same time when the Romans were owning their women. And divorce was permitted for a woman if she wasn't being satisfied sexually. If her husband had just gone off with another woman, she could divorce him for that. It was all very modern in terms of a woman being equal within her partnership of marriage. And they could go to war, same as a man. And there's one historical quote which was like that the troops were more afraid of the Celts when their women did take to the battlefield because they were considered to be more fierce. Interesting stuff. I'm working through that, and this is a good time of the year to sort of think about where your path is heading. You could read books. Now, I'm going to insert this into my video here, that because I'm quite bookish, I read about everything. And for years and years before I started proper in the pagan path, I read for about 5 years. The Celtic Morrigan path, for me, came as a shock, was a surprise, and I couldn't find any information about it anywhere. This book is the only book that I could find about working with the Morrigan, and I was told to hold off until Yule and work with the Morrigan through intuition, through meditation, through dreams, through messages, through feelings. And this was a really powerful, life-altering experience for me, and it's one I highly recommend to anybody, is that if you feel the call of any particular deity, is to work with them here before you go ahead and read a lot. And that is something which has been incorporating into my path. So as I took that in a sense of silence, I took in everything that I have learnt this far about the Morrigan before the book. That comes from a place of silence, if that makes sense. Also, at this time of the year, it's really great to read, to expand your mind. There's a really great quote in this Game of Thrones book, which is that the mind is a weapon, and the same as a sword needs sharpening to keep it from going dull, a brain needs books to keep it sharp. I am reading George R. Martin, A Game of Thrones, the first in the Ice and Fire series, which is behind me, and they're amazing. And this time of the year is really, really great for expanding yourself through books. It's not for everybody. Not everybody enjoys books, but I'm a crazy, crazy book person, and it really helps. And it helps me as well because one of my goals for this year is to get my first book written. This is something I want to do, and I have long. It's my main dream. And reading the successful books helps because it's like, you can do this. The person who wrote this book is still a human being, same as everyone else. The same person who wrote the Morrigan book is a human being, same as you, and you can do this if you believe in yourself and push yourself. That's something else. That's a whole other video about keeping your head up and high and knowing that you can do what you want to do with your life. So, before I go off on any more of a tangent, I think I will pause and reflect and pull it all together and finish. So basically the whole point of the Silence and Goals video is, by all means have goals. By all means use the energies of 2013 to push yourself. Crazy hair. By all means, you know, if you feel happy to do that, then do it. You know, you don't have to listen to anybody else. If that's what you feel is right for you, then follow it. But don't set yourself a whole ton of goals and fall flat on your face. Don't feel bad if you don't achieve everything that you want straight away. I mean, it's a journey. It's not like flash bang, there it is. It's changing habits, bad habits into good habits. It's changing thought patterns. And the thing that I wanted to really stress is this time of the year is great for silence. It's great to go in. It's great to think. It's great to debate with yourself. It's good to relate to your deity. It's good to pull yourself into a frame of mind where you're ready to take on those challenges that you want to take and shape your world around it, to change those things you don't like and to embrace the things you do. So that's going to be it for this talky video. I hope you have had a very blessed Yule and a very blessed Roman calendar New Year. Many blessings.